Good morning, Sacred Spiritual Healer, with your general message today. Happy Friday. Alright, we're going to get the overall energy for the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine in the collective for the general read of their journey. For this Divine Feminine's energy, please, thank you, and the Masculine's, please. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Okay. The dragons. Give me a minute. Positive energy is the fire and positive Alright, so what I get, well, okay, guess I'm not going to read it, I closed it again. So this is the Divine Feminines. They're pulling, some of them have pulled back their energy, and they're healing themselves or going within and being in mission. Perhaps they're just now looking or seeing what their soul purpose is. They're focusing on themselves and healing themselves, raising their vibration. They've been enlightened. They're receiving downloads from the Great Spirit to show them their purpose and to get in mission. And so they have like laser eye focus, almost like the hawk or the eagle, how they have precision of their sight from way up high. They can narrow in like a target of what they need to do, and they stay focused on it today, on that mission. Very much in their heart chakra. Their heart chakra is open. They listening to the higher self, their intuition, and they've pulled back from the masculines because they've had to set boundaries, so that because they know their self-worth, they know they're one with their higher self, so they know their self-worth, and so they've set boundaries, pulled back from the masculine and set boundaries. And they are focused on their mission at this time, knowing that that magnetic pole will pull the Divine Masculine to them, just like these fire ants are being drawn to the fire, the flame. They will be drawn to one, but this is a collective, and so the collective are probably a lot of them on the same page. If you're watching this, it may resonate, and you can certainly flip the energies. But the masculines are using their solar plexus chakra is open, and some of the sacral chakra is very activated as well. But they felt that pull when she pulled back. They felt that in the heart space even. So they've had to go and really have courage and strength, and they're trying to figure a way to get to that light that she shines, because they know that she is the light that guides. They know she's the Divine Feminine. They are just trying to figure out, and for some feel like they are going to have to fight for this connection back. They feel like she may have other offers or other prospects, and they are they feel like there's many options because her light shines so brightly. And they're afraid to speak up, evidently, because my throat chakra is like closing off. Spirit, give us true and precise messages for the collective general read, with what's coming at them at the 3D level, the physical, the mental, as far as their intellect, what they're thinking about, and then what their heart space. Okay. Coming at them. Coming at them. Oops. Okay. I think that's 5. Hang on. Well, that looks like a great read spread. Alright, Spirit, give us the, what are they thinking about? What's in their mind space? What's in their mind space? What are they thinking about? What are they thinking about for the collective on the journey? Maybe thinking about the recent tower of the feminine pulling back that caused them an immediate tower. You know, they know that you've been nurturing them and healing them, and they've been basking in that fine energy you give. Okay. Well, in the heart space, heart chakra. Ooh, divine couple on board. Well, in their heart space, they want to move forward. It'll come back out if it was meant to. I don't think it was meant to. In the heart space, Spirit. To be in reverse, and the last one in reverse. Okay, beautiful read. So coming at physically, the divine masculine is sitting in his throne. He's possibly just recently with the towers had a transformation, possibly even a rebirth. If not, I sense that their rebirth is coming shortly here, perhaps this weekend. He's listening to his divine feminine through, they're both having telecommunication back and forth. He believes in this journey, but he's now has given up his old way of thinking, uprooted his old belief system, and engaging and embracing, thank you, Spirit, embracing the new belief system of this journey. Things are brightly shining. He's putting the darkness behind him, and you can see he's starting to illuminate because there's like a very light color all around him. Alright, and Temperance is here to balance things out so things can blossom. Calm waters as far as emotions are calming down. This is number 14, breaks to a 5, so change. Temperance is changing the way things were so that they can heal with the health thing here. Both parties are listening to their higher self and their intuition now. And moving forward in this faith of this journey, trusting that it's that leap of faith energy with the knowing the sun is going to, the promise of the sun rises every day. So they know that this is not something they have to dwell on or wait for, because they know that that light is there, that connection is there to stay. Ending of an old cycle. This is a breaks to a 3. It's a 21. End of the old cycle and starting of the new cycle. A lot of emotions today, with still really holding on tight. The masculines are holding on tight to this. The feminines are holding on to the connection, but focused on mission, focused on their setting those boundaries so things can grow, wanting to come up, the new cycles beginning, coming out of the cold. Because yes, the divine feminine released the masculine from this, and this is the hawks, well, of truth, and they bring messages as well. So if you're seeing a lot of hawks around you, they're telling you to be in your true self, be your true authentic self, stand firmly solid on your solid beliefs of this connection, and hold it close to your heart. She's releasing because you can't hold tightly to something. You need to, release so that it can come to you. And the divine masculines have done that, because once this switches now, it'll have that magnetic pull like here, and it'll pull the masculine to step up into his power and come forward to the feminine. After all, it's his job to make the offers. 10 of Cups is a closure. Both of you have filled your own cup. Both of you are filling your own cup, as he's the king and you're the queen. The promise of the rainbow, the abundance at the end of the rainbow, and that Spirit wants you to remember that abundance at the end of the rainbow is not a pot of gold in the sense of financial necessarily. It may bring financial abundance and growth, but it's going to bring happiness, growth, relationships, abundance in the fulfillment of within yourself, but also healing one another. Because the journey itself is about filling your own cup first, healing yourself, being true to yourself first, knowing that you are the I am and you are one with your higher self. When you step into that power of understanding that, then you can become in union. In the thought space, and this could be both parties, because it's still, alright, this is the masculine, Spirit says, because she's focused on setting the boundaries that she did, which she set the boundaries with the flames, put the swords in the middle and said no more backstabbing, no more lies, deceit. We're putting all our cards on the table, swords in this case. And for the masculine, he doesn't want to see the truth. He doesn't want to face it. So Spirit is brought in the tower to shake that up, to make sure he sees the truth, the enlightenment regarding this. And his spirit guides stand beside him, speaking to him, reassuring him. And of course, the feminine in her power, she knows that her spirit guide is there, listens to her higher self as well. So the tower came in and tossed him from the tower so that it could break this up. It was the faulty foundation of the things around it, the three-party situations, the devil energy, any of the negative things that just kept you down, crawling, barely moving forward in the connection, can now, with positive communication and truth, can move forward, because it's going to cause that draw to the center, the magnetic pull from the masculine to the feminine. 8 of Wands, and genders can be reversed. Communication to one another telepathically. This is also both of you listening to Great Spirit and your spirit guides as well. Coming to you through birds. Messages are being delivered through birds, so pay attention. You've got a lot of hawks here bringing that message. And then the hawks bring in truth, but they want you to be true to yourself. They want you to have that laser focus on your mission, your purpose, which is to heal self, love self, and get in mission together. Page of Cups, the divine masculine is nurturing himself, holding true to the connection, understanding or researching the connection, ignoring the karmic or the karmic energy around him, person, place, or thing, reminiscing about how the feminine made him feel young and in his emotions, playful at times, and reminiscing about that while he heals, so that he can come to her up out of his emotions and take control of his emotions, or try to, because it's been difficult for him to control his emotions once she pulled back. He wasn't willing or wanting to face these emotions, especially being a masculine. They think they have to be, you know, men don't cry type thing. So, afraid to, not wanting to face the emotion of it, but knowing the importance of the love and passion that he has for the Divine Feminine, wants to move forward. So he's coming in with, or thinking about coming, because this is the mind space, thinking about coming in with an offer in his heart space, or their heart space. This could be either or of you. If it doesn't resonate that it's the other part, then it's, or if it's not resonating that it's you feeling that way, then it's them. Hangman in reverse, Hangman up this way, is going in and trying to uproot your old belief system, listening to the new belief system, thinking how the signs, synchronicity, what do they mean, trying to think about the coming from the dark and heading to the light. But it's in reverse, so this has already been done, because again, the transformation after the tower that took place, they already have uprooted their old system and they have that new belief system, and they're already coming out of this energy with an enlightenment. For the Queen of Wands, he knows, look, he's the king and she's the queen. You have a divine couple. She is holding true. You know, she's sitting in her belief system as well. He's listening to her speak to him telepathically. She's still sending him the love, energetic love of healing him from afar as she heals herself and inner child wounds. It also heals him or triggers him to heal himself. So this brings a lot of regrowth, but also the transformation that took place with, just like fall leaves fall off the trees, then they're bare, and then in spring, right, all the new growth comes in. But in his heart space, he definitely wants to make that offer. He wants to come charging in like a raging bull, take control of the situation, speak his truth, and very passionate or fiery regarding that truth. Yeah, a lot of fire energy here with this one, a lot of red, but you can even see in the face of the bull and the face of the Knight of Swords here. He's got that determined look of speaking truth. And speaking back and forth in his heart space, he wants to communicate together, because these two knights are speaking together. So one wants to talk to you, and that's in his heart space. He wants to have this communication together. But this is also the Knight of Wands coming in with a message, and a lot of red in this as well for the passion or fiery energy. But this one's also being a little defensive. So he wants to communicate with you, but he's also going to be a little defensive because he knows that you pulled back. Perhaps he's not sure why. Or, okay, Spirit says he knows why. And he's just ashamed that he's got to speak his truth of the things he did. Regarding the three-party situation, Spirit says that has recently ended. So if they're still in connection, the karmic in himself or the devil energy, then it's ending, or they are not, they're just ignoring them if they're still in the household. Okay, but there's ending out of this and movement forward, and understand that they chose wrong, or that they had so many choices they weren't sure which direction to go to get across that calm water, to get to the calm waters. So they had to go in hibernation mode, pretty much hangman mode, and like hermit mode, and understand the science of this journey to realize the connection, because they knew she was the high priestess, and it was a very magnetic connection, but they still wanted to entertain the other choices until she stepped in her power and pulled back. And then he didn't want to lose that connection. Can I find the King of Wands? Clarifying the King of Wands, please. Clarifying the King of Wands. Okay, clarify the King of Wands. A lot of anxiety. Picking up a lot of anxiety of this when I was shuffling. Right into the heart space, into my gut, like this solar plexus, really working on getting that strength from their solar plexus. With anxious about it, they're very nervous. Yeah, almost sick to their stomach. Like I'm getting like, I can feel the nauseousness about the anxiety for them. All right. So Spirit came in with this, is coming in with this Tower, of course, but he's realizing that it was Spirit threw them, like thrust them out of that tower. You can see with this card how they're being shoved to move forward, and they feel that push. They feel Spirit moving them to come forward to you regarding the three-person situation, regarding the fact that something stunk, somebody was pretending to be somebody they weren't. There's been stones thrown regarding other persons as well. And they're having to go within to heal that. But the Justice came in, and the vultures were carrying away the carcasses that no longer served his highest good. A feeling not wanted. Three of Wands, had to choose, but he was feeling like all of a sudden it made him feel not wanted, like they were throwing him over the edge, throwing him out of the building, throwing him out of the tower. He's feeling, that was his energy. Wow. The ending of the cycle and the start of the new. Alright, let's go down to the Nine of Swords. Spirit, Nine of Swords. Okay. So this put him in a headspace of trying to figure out, because he was thinking the worst of everything, couldn't get a focus on it. This is the Seven of Wands. Ugh. When he felt like you threw him out of the tower regarding the situation, it was the third party. For some reason he was thinking you were making it bigger than it was. Maybe he didn't see a problem with it. Maybe this is, other people have always just accepted them doing this, but you're the divine. You're not like any other. And so he thought, in his headspace, he was thinking you were making more out of this situation, that but he also felt other people were laughing about it, or he was reaching out to friends about the connection and the fact that you walked away. And so they were laughing at him, making him, trying to tell him that, you know, like she's the devil, and saying ill things about the divine. Had to clean out the weeds in this situation, clear out the three-party situations or the things that were no longer serving him. But in order to balance this, he had to go within, meditate, and he realized that he planted seeds in the wrong place. And for this to grow, he needs to go within and start again, because to balance this. Oh, this was on. Sorry. It was this. He went within to heal. Four of Swords. While he was hibernating. Why does this keep coming up? Somebody's hibernating all winter. Okay. Hermit and Hangman. But every time he closed his eyes, the Divine Feminine's all he could think about. It was like haunting him, right? But he also felt like everybody else was laughing at him regarding this connection. People he talked to, the friends and co-workers or something that he was talking to or gossiping about the connection or person. A lot of people were watching and keeping their eyes on the situation, and he felt like he was being watched and laughed at, perhaps. You can see all the faces in there. Okay. But he kept dancing to the beat of his own drum. This is the new beginning, the new cycle. This is the new start. It's the Ace of Coins. This is also dancing to the beat of his own drum, and for growth, for abundance, for prosperity, but for fruition, for the seeds that he's planted to come to fruition. And this always reminds me too of the, aside from the phallic shape there, it is some sensual energy, but also that something's coming in and he feels it. He feels like that drum roll, like something's going to happen. And it did. The Tower came in. So he knew this was taking place. He knew he was, in a sense, he felt it, that he was going to be thrown, pushed from that tower, and that he had to choose and get out of the situation that he's in regarding choices. That even the spirits and the devil were there to, not the devil, death was there to poke him along the way. This is 7 for change, or growth. They're by the Tower. Yes. The Tower came in and fought. See how the one woman is falling, being thrown out of the way, but he's having to crawl on his belly, and death was here to poke at him and move him along and tell him to keep going, don't stop, right? And he's gone through that transformation from the caterpillar, and had to rot inside the cocoon so that he could grow the wings. Once he grew the wings, and it has now, or getting ready to emerge. No, he has emerged right here. He's flying forward. He's transformed and he's shining brightly now. And compared to the other earthlings that are like zombies of a low vibration, he's leaving behind those zombies, those low vibrational people that don't serve him, that were giving him bad advice or gossiping about him. And he's transformed into a new. He knows that she's the high priestess now of those choices. He understands her belief, her being in her higher self. He feels her high vibration in that magnetic pole. And of course he knows that she knows the truth because she is the high priestess. And nothing is hidden from her. She just doesn't speak of it. Okay, we also have Page of Cups. He wants to bring in an offer. So communication that's coming in, Spirit. This is regarding the Tower. So this communication that's coming in is regarding the Tower of something that happened communication wise, perhaps something he's risen up. He feels like he's risen from the dead, I'm getting. And he wants to communicate all these changes and all his rebirth with you. Clarify the Page of Cups with the nurturing self. Eating and drinking more healthier. Watching what they do ingest as far as food. Eating healthier, I'm getting. Taking care of themselves health-wise. Alright, and this is regarding the lovers. That they know that it's a divine connection, the Kundalini rising with this Tower card as well, perhaps, and that they are believing now and knowing that it's divinely guided from the spirit realm. Okay, the message that he wants or thinking about bringing in, or she's reaching out. But care for yourself, Divine Feminine, and stay on your mission. Shoot for the stars with this Ace of Swords, that new beginning. Truth is coming in regarding a higher vibration. Clarify the Hangman, please. Okay. So, the hangman was what he was thinking about. And what happened was, before the tower, he took a look in the mirror. He saw the man in the mirror wasn't who he wanted to be, who he thought he was. He's putting down the alcohol bottle and the things that no longer serve him. And he went within and worked on himself, and with the help and protection of his spirit guides, animal totems. And this is in the past. That's why the hangman's in reverse and this is in reverse. So this is behind him. This is what he did with the tower. When the tower happened, he took a good look in the mirror at himself and didn't like what he saw. Because he also didn't care for the fact that perhaps it's the karmic. He realized that she was the devil herself, pretty much. This redhead here is very attractive, and he was more seduced by it, but she was using voodoo, or she was using black magic on him to bind him to her. You see the rope around her sacral chakra, representing the binding spell she's done to keep him where he was, to keep him stuck so that he couldn't think clearly. She has a snake on her leg. She has an anaconda snake here and an anaconda snake here, and this staff she's holding is a cobra. And so he's still dealing with that, or in the past, putting that in the past, because he realized that now somehow he realized, maybe in his realizations of enlightenment and transformation, he had seen or found information out about her doing these spells, or paying someone to do these spells. But she made him feel like he was in a cave, like he was locked in, like he couldn't move, that it would be poisonous. But the relationship with her is very toxic, he felt like he was just being squoze by her. He knows that the Divine Feminine is the Queen of Wands communication. Clarify the Queen of Wands for me, please. Spirit. Indian. For the masculines or feminines. It's in reverse. Oh. Okay. Okay. So the Queen of Wands is how he sees the Divine Feminine in his heart. He's thinking about her in her throne, that she's his queen. She's the one he, is focused on now. He's trying to find the strength of the bear. He's trying to embody the bear energy for strength, but not wanting to. He's still struggling, trying to find the ability within himself to dance to the beat of his own drum. And then here you see he's destroying his drum. He's like, no, I can't do it. So he's really fighting this. But yet he knows that she is very strong, and so he needs to rise to the occasion and embody that bear energy for the strength to come out of the storm clouds, to come out of the storm. And what he wants to come communicate, what he's trying to get the strength to communicate, was regarding these sexual addictions or thoughts, actions, etc. Here you have two men in the back. One is a joker, and then this other guy, he's turning his back to this, but he keeps focusing on it. He keeps turning back, looking at this flame of these naked women dancing. Alright, he also knows he was being greedy. He was holding on to material. He thought everything that mattered was either sex or material possessions. So he was holding on to those, and he was refusing to be come out of that vulnerability of letting it go. He's almost naked here, wrapped in a red cloth around his groin area. But also he knows that that only brought him faulty foundation. the material possessions, the sex with other women, that it didn't fulfill him. It wasn't solid, it wasn't stable. And so he wants to come forward or trying to find the strength to come forward and explain that he's releasing that with his new beliefs, that Spirit has shown him the visions of his ways. And he's had to look up, like look his demons in the face, look at his nightmares that he felt so overpowered by, as he felt very small by this energy, and he's again trying to find that strength using his solar plexus chakra. And here we see the solar plexus very bright, so he's gaining that strength, coming out of that Nine of Swords energy, feeling trapped and tied. And the Chariot does want to move forward. He's being thrown by Spirit into the Chariot, not willingly, but saying, boom, he's being thrown out of the tower and into the Chariot, because the Wheel of Fortune needs to move forward. In Spirit, you don't mess with Spirit. He's going to move you one way or the other. Right? And this is the truth, because we have the sword. Emperor, you can see here he's thrown into the Chariot from his throne here with like lightning bolts being hit. But you can see his face, and this looks like he's not real happy to have to sit in that throne. Like, that means responsibility. But he is willing now to move forward with the Six of Swords. He knows she's the star and that she lights the path that he needs to be on. So he's coming in with communication regarding that moon phase, what was in light, or lit up, oh my gosh. The shadow energy. It's like an enlightenment. I just keep getting enlightenment about his sex addiction with all these naked women entertaining him. And it's haunting him. So he needs to be that King of Wands regarding this animal. Okay, Spirit. We need to get a grip. Things that people are watching. He's had to tame the animal. Okay. Ending of the cycle and the start of the new. He wants to come forward with communication, raging bull, in truth. Like we said here, he's still thinking about coming forward. And he's turned his back on the things that were attacking him. And Eight of Cups, and some of those, well, he thought they were dragonflies and beautiful, but it turned out they were moths eating away at his core, at his soul. And it's caused that tower moment has caused a lot of emotions. A lot of tears have fallen regarding that situation. But he is coming out of it as a Hierophant and taming the dragon within him. Shooting for the stars. This is beautiful. Shooting for the stars with truth to bring this connection back together, to bridge the gap that has been caused for whatever reason the Divine Feminine pulled back. Temperance is here, and he knows that the Divine Feminine has also been transformed for a while, that she is healing herself. She heals others, but she goes within and heals her first, loves herself, thank you, Spirit. And that he's watching this from afar in amazement, and she just glows, and he just thinks she's so beautiful. He is being not being the fool, taking the step of a fool, the Fool card, that's that leap of faith. Thank you, Spirit. He's taking that leap of faith forward to bring you this cup of love to nurture you now that he's filled his own cup. He just thinks you're beautiful, Divine Feminine. Okay, Spirit wants me to keep going, so with the bottom of the deck instead of dealing. The choices and the Three of Cups is no more. Spirit has dragged him out of that energy. This is the Eight of Swords, feeling trapped, but you can see Spirit is dragging him out of that that deceitfulness, that way of being. But it was because there's devil energy there, and someone was doing voodoo, so he felt bound. This is the second card that makes it look like a spell was done on this masculine. and he felt like he was wearing many masks, or someone was wearing, okay, this could be the karmic, was wearing many masks, and he wasn't sure. It was making him confused. The spell work that was being done, they were paying someone else to do the spell work, so there's Spirit saying there are invoices, receipts or invoices, perhaps email or on the credit card, regarding the spell and voodoo work that they paid someone to conduct or do on the masculine, and to keep the divine feminine in him apart. I'm hearing kept him in the dark, and just being haunted with these faces. Whew. The page of coins is the drum. That's always, he's walking on the solid foundation now. He's been enlightened. He's reached that transformation, coming out of the dark into the light, onto a solid path forward. And this is, he's marching to the beat of his own drum now, but more so that drum roll again, like something heading or coming up, and the beginning of the parade, right? What's coming behind him is a whole parade. That chariot awaits energy. It's been very much Nine of Cups in his emotions, and he's risen above and gone within and healed himself and he's received his judgment and gone in and done the healing. Now we have the Sun card. You can celebrate. The eagle now wants to fly above the storm. Spirit says these. Okay. So maybe the masculines need these more. The feminine is doing awesome. If she's pulled back, that's perfect. Just keep healing yourself, going within and loving yourself. Know that it's divinely guided. I know that you're also feeling that magnetic pull to reach back out, but you don't want to start the rubber band effect all over again. The masculine has healing to do, and when you plant the seed of a tree, you can't just expect it to be growing in a couple days. It's going to take time for that growth, that healing to take place. Also, like when you, healing wise, if he has healing to do with old wounds or these bad habits, devil energy, or just for example, I'm going to use alcohol for example. If they're an alcoholic or have a drinking habit, it takes time. Once they stop, they need to go within and heal those wounds, the inner child, and what causes them to numb themselves with alcohol or something. And so by you going back in, you're helping numb, you're almost, what is it called? Not embodying, enabling, because you're not letting them heal. And while we think that we're healing them by showing them more love and more compassion, but we're only then inhibiting their growth. Thank you, Spirit. Gosh, that was a lot. My hands are shaking with that. That was a lot high energy there. Okay. Listen to your intuition, and problems are necessary stages to purification on your journey. You will emerge from the maze a new you, and that's exactly what he's doing. So the divine masculine is emerging from that maze a new person. You may not even recognize him, Spirit says. The seed you planted is growing. It's happening. Just have faith. And that's what we just said, right? Until then, live your best life now, and your glow and your fulfilling yourself will still help heal him from a distance. Ask yourself a question in your mind, and I'll show you yes or no. Malachite has copper concentrate inside. It aids healing. It's very important right now because I've gotten this card out of all of those almost every day this week. So this obviously is very important for some. The malachite has copper concentrate. It heals aching joints, reduces swelling, but it's also great for healing the heartache. It is dark rich green with a light green through it. And I'm going to hold mine up here. So you have the dark green, light green through it. I'm just going to rotate it. Ignore the fact that I have a broken nail. I'm getting it fixed today. Alright, so there's that. And your answer to your question was absolutely yes. Yes, they love you. Yes, they are sorry for what happened. Okay, and angel cards. Okay, Spirit. Oh, no. Way too many. A lot of energy coming through. A lot of fire energy right now. Not an angry, but a very anxiety-like fire energy. A lot of times we think of fire energy or red as anger, and it's not passion and it's not anger. It's more anxiety-like energy. Whew. Coming through from the masculines. When I started the reading and I started with Dragon, I had very calm and loving energy coming through. So that's how I know it's different. So create heaven on earth. It is happening, and it's happening for you, not to you. Okay, this is the initiation, and I feel like this is where the masculines, or the two towers they had here. So the initiation card is a rite of passage. It's a crossing that threshold that to get to the next step. So to me, this is that we know when we transcend or when we're going through our levels of growth, right? There's a gate in, like, say 5D, right? In spiritual realm. There's a large gate there. And to get right up to that gate, you have to push and get through all these tests and initiations to get through the gate. So it gets darkest, like here, it gets darkest before the light when you're that close to the gate. But there are a lot more tests then come through to test us on our strength and our faith in this connection, the faith in this journey. And even though it feels like it's like killing us, right, with heartache and heartbreak, Spirit wants you to remember that it's an initiation to pass the test. If you get a karmic soulmate that all of a sudden shows up and you start to date them, feminine or masculines, if you go off with some other woman, that's going to be another karmic cycle you need to learn from. And because you didn't pass the test, you didn't, they're testing you with these other people coming into your life while you're shining brightly and growing, because it's kind of like a devil energy trying to stop you from growing. In this initiation card, when I hold it up, you're going to see tons of snakes all around. You're going to see money, treasure chest of jewels and such. But the lightning bolt is here inside the darkness, and then you see this beautiful paradise on the other side. So just stay to your path, stay true to this journey, and ignore the snakes, ignore those tests. Don't ignore the tests, but know that they are tests. Thank you, Spirit. So I'll hold it back so you can see the whole card. And then the snakes are all through there. Alright. I don't know what I did with all. Put it there. Play. Have fun. Celebrate. Don't be so serious about the connection. Be romantic and fun. It is a serious connection. We know that we need to be in soul purpose. We know we need to be in mission, and the time is now, but also have fun and enjoy the journey on it. Alright, that's what I have for you for the general reading, and namaste.